I should be there. I should be eating those people.
Right? Even Ghost gets to eat people.
Yeah, they're a little bit past their prime, but yeah, he still does.
He does. They're just
It's cold, they keep up there.
Bran. Bran preferred the hard stone of the window seat to the comforts of his feather bed and blankets. A bed, the walls pressed close and the ceiling hung heavy above him. A bed, the room was his cell and Winterfell his prison. Yet outside his window the wide world still called. He could not walk, nor climb, nor hunt, nor fight with a wooden sword as he once had, but he could still look. He liked to watch the windows begin to glow all over Winterfell as candles and hearth fires were lit behind the diamond-shaped panes of tower and hall, and he loved to listen to the direwolves sing to the stars. Oft of late he dreamed of wolves. "They are talking to me, brother to brother," he told himself when the direwolves howled. He could almost understand them. Not quite, not truly, but almost, as if they were singing in a language he'd once known and somehow forgotten. The Walders might be scared of them, but the Starks had wolf blood. Old Nan told him so. "So it is stronger in some than in others," she warned. Summer's howls were long and sad, full of grief and longing. Shaggy Dog's were more savage. Their voices echoed through the yards and halls until the castle rang, and it seemed as though some great pack of direwolves haunted Winterfell, instead of just two. Two where there had once been 6. Do they miss their brothers and sisters too? Bran wondered. Are they calling to Greywind and Ghost, to Nymeria and Lady's Shade? Do they want them to come home and be a pack together? "Who can know the mind of a wolf?" Sir Roderick Castle said when Bran asked him why they howled. Bran's lady mother had named him Cassian of Winterfell in her absence, and his duties left him little time for idle questions. "It's freedom they're calling for," declared Farlan, who was kennel master and had no more love for the direwolves than his hounds did. "They don't like being walled up, and who's to blame 'em? Wild things belong in the wild, not in a castle." "They want to hunt," agreed Gage, the cook, as he tossed cubes of suet in a great kettle of stew. "A wolf smells better than any man. Like as not they've caught the scent of prey." Maester Luwin did not think so. "Wolves often howl at the moon. These are howling at the comet. See how bright it is, Bran. Perchance they think it is the moon." When Bran repeated that to Osha, she laughed out loud. "Your wolves have more wit than your maester," the wildling woman said. "They know truths the grey man has forgotten." The way she said it made him shiver, and when he asked what the comet meant, she answered, "Blood and fire, boy, and nothing sweet." Bran asked Septon Chael about the comet while they were sorting through some scrolls snatched from the library fire. "It is the sword that slays the season," he replied, and soon the White Raven came from Oldtown bringing word of autumn, so doubtless he was right. Though old Nan did not think so, and she'd live longer than anyone. "Dragons," she said, lifting her head and sniffing. She was near blind and could not see the comet, yet she claimed she could smell it. "It be dragons, boy," she insisted. Bran got no princes from Nan, no more than he ever had. Hodor only said, "Hodor." That was all he ever said. And still the direwolves howled. The guards on the walls muttered curses, hounds in the kennels barked furiously, horses kicked at their stalls, the Walders shivered by their fire, and even Maester Luwin complained of sleepless nights. Only Bran did not mind. Sir Roderick had confined the wolves to the Godswood after Shaggy Dog had bit little Walder, but the stones of Winterfell played queer tricks with sound, and sometimes it sounded as if they were in the yard right below Bran's window. Other times he could have sworn they were up on the curtain walls, loping around like sentries. He wished he could see them. He could see the comet hanging over the guards tower and the bell tower, and farther back the first keep, squat and round, its gargoyles black shapes against the bruised purple dusk. Once Bran had known every stone of these buildings, inside and out. He'd climbed them all, scampering up walls as easily as other boys ran downstairs. Their rooftops had been his secret places, and the crows atop the broken tower his special friends. And then he had fallen. Bran did not remember falling, yet they said he had, so he supposed it must be true. He had almost died. When he saw the weather-worn gargoyles atop the first keep where it had happened, he got a queer tight feeling in his belly. And now he could not climb, nor walk, nor run, nor sword fight, and the dreams he'd dreamed of knighthood had soured in his head. Summer had howled the day Bran had fallen, and for long after, as he lay broken in his bed, Robb had told him so before he went away to war. Summer had mourned for him, and Shaggy Dog and Grey Wind had joined in his grief. And the night the Bloody Raven had brought word of his father's death, the wolves had known that too. Bran had been in his maester's turret with Rickon talking of the children of the forest, when Summer and Shaggy Dog had drowned out Lewin with their howls. Who are they mourning now? Had some enemy slain the king in the north who used to be his brother Robb? Had his bastard brother Jon Snow fallen from the wall? Had his mother died, or one of his sisters? Or was this something else, as Maester and Septon and old Nan seemed to think? If I were a direwolf, I would understand the song, he thought wistfully. In his wolf dreams he could race up the sides of mountains, jagged icy mountains taller than any tower, and stand at the summit beneath the full moon with all the world below him, the way it used to be. "Oh!" Bran cried tentatively. He cupped his hands round his mouth and lifted his head to the comet. "Oh! Oh!" he howled. It sounded stupid, high and hollow and quavering, a little boy's howl, not a wolf's. Yet Summer gave answer, his deep voice drowning out Bran's thin one, and Shaggy Dog made it a chorus. Bran howled again. They howled together, last of their pack. The noise brought a guard to his door, Hayhead with the wen on his nose. He peered in, saw Bran howling out the window, and said, "What's this, my prince?" It made Bran feel queer when they called him prince, though he was Robb's heir, and Robb was king in the north now. He turned his head to howl at the guard. "Oh! Oh!" Hayhead screwed up his face. "Now you stop that there." "Oh! Oh!" The guardsman retreated. When he came back, Maester Lewin was with him, all in grey, his chain tight about his neck. "Bran, those beasts make sufficient noise without your help." He crossed the room and put his hand on the boy's brow. "The hour grows late. You ought to be fast asleep." "I'm talking to the wolves." Bran pushed the hand away. "Shall I have Hayhead carry you to your bed?" "I can get to bed myself." Mikken had hammered a row of iron bars to the wall, so Bran could pull himself about the room with his arms. It was slow and hard, and it made his shoulders ache, but he hated being carried. "Anyway, I don't have to sleep if I don't want to." "All men must sleep, Bran, even princes." "When I sleep I turn into a wolf." Bran turned his face away and looked back out into the night. "Do wolves dream?" "All creatures dream, I think, yet not as men do." "Do dead men dream?" Bran asked, thinking of his father. In the dark crypts below Winterfell, a stonemason was chiselling out father's likeness in granite. "Some say yes, some no," the maester answered. "The dead themselves are silent on this matter." "Do trees dream?" "Trees? No." "They do," Bran said with sudden certainty. "They dream tree dreams. I dream of a tree sometimes, a weirwood like the one in the God's Wood. It calls to me. The wolf dreams are better. I smell things, and sometimes I can taste blood." Maester Lewin tugged at his chain where it chafed his neck. "If you would only spend more time with the other children—" "I hate the other children," Bran said, meaning the Walders. "I commanded you to send them away." Lewin grew stern. "The Freys are your lady mother's wards, sent here to be fostered at her express command. It is not for you to expel them, nor is it kind. If we turn them out, where would they go?" "Home. It's their fault you won't let me have Summer." "The Frey boy did not ask to be attacked," the maester said. "No more than I did." "That was Shaggy Dog." Rickon's big black wolf was so wild he even frightened Bran at times. "Summer never bit anyone." "Summer ripped out a man's throat in this very chamber, or have you forgotten? The truth is, those sweet pups you and your brothers found in the snow have grown into dangerous beasts. The Frey boys are wise to be wary of them." "We should put the Walders in the Godswood. They could play Lord of the Crossing all they want, and Summer could sleep with me again. If I'm the prince, why don't you heed me? I wanted to ride Dancer, but Alebelly wouldn't let me get past the gate." "And rightly so. The Wolfswood is full of danger. Your last ride should have taught you that. Would you want some outlaw to take you captive and sell you to the Lannisters?" "Summer would save me," Bran insisted stubbornly. "Princes should be allowed to sail the sea and hunt boar in the Wolf's Wood and joust with lances." "Bran, child, why do you torment yourself so? One day you may do these things, but now you're only a boy of 8. "I'd sooner be a wolf. Then I could live in the wood and sleep when I wanted, and I could find Arya and Sansa. I'd smell where they are and go save them, and when Robb went to battle I'd fight beside him like Greywind. I'd tear out the Kingslayer's throat with my teeth, rip, and then the war would be over and everyone would come back to Winterfell. If I was a wolf—" He howled. "Oh!" Lewin raised his voice. "A true prince would welcome—" "Oh!" Bran howled louder. "Ooh!" The maester surrendered. "As you will, child." With a look that was part grief and part disgust, he left the bedchamber. Howling lost its savour once Bran was alone. After a time he quieted. "I did welcome them," Bran thought, resentful. "I was the lord in Winterfell, a true lord. He can't say I wasn't." When the Walders had arrived from the twins, it had been Rickon who wanted them gone. A baby of 4, he'd screamed that he wanted mother and father and Robb, not these strangers. It had been up to Bran to soothe him and bid the Freys welcome. He had offered them meat and mead and a seat by the fire, and even Maester Lewin had said afterward that he'd done well. Only that was before the game. The game was played with a log, a staff, a body of water, and a great deal of shouting. The water was the most important, Walder and Walder assured Bran. You could use a plank or even a series of stones, and a branch could be your staff. You didn't have to shout, but without water there was no game. As Maester Lewin and Sir Roderick were not about to let the children go wandering off into the Godswood in search of a stream, they made do with one of the murky pools in the Godswood. Walder and Walder had never seen hot water bubbling from the ground before, but they both allowed how it would make the game even better. Both of them were called Walder Frey. Big Walder said there were bunches of Walders at the twins, all named after the boy's grandfather, Lord Walder Frey. "We have our own names at Winterfell," Rickon told them, laughing when he heard that. The way their game was played, you laid the log across the water, and one player stood in the middle with a stick. He was the Lord of the Crossing, and one of the other players came up and had to say, "I am the Lord of the Crossing. Who goes here?" And then the other player had to make up a speech about who they were and why they should be allowed to cross. The Lord would make them swear oaths and answer questions. They didn't have to tell the truth, but the oaths were binding unless they said, "Mayhaps." So the trick was to say "mayhaps," so the Lord of the Crossing didn't notice. Then you could try and knock the Lord into the water, and you got to be Lord of the Crossing, but only if you said "mayhaps." Otherwise you were out of the game. The Lord got to knock anyone in the water any time he pleased, and he was the only one who got to use the stick. In practice, the game seemed to come down to mostly shoving, hitting, and falling into the water, along with a lot of loud arguments about whether or not someone had said mayhaps. Little Walder was Lord of the Crossing more often than not. He was Little Walder even though he was tall and stout with a red face and a big round belly. Big Walder was sharp-faced and skinny and half a foot shorter. "He's 52 days older than me," Little Walder explained, "so he was bigger at first, but I grew faster." "We're cousins, not brothers," added Big Walder, the little one. "I'm Walder, son of Jamos. My father was Lord Walder's son by his 4th wife. He's Walder, son of Merritt. His grandmother was Lord Walder's 3rd wife of Crakehall. He's ahead of me in the line of succession, even though I'm older." "Only by 52 days," Little Walder objected. "And neither of us will ever hold the twins, stupid." "I will," Big Walder declared. We're not the only Walders either. Sir Stevron has a grandson, Black Walder. He's fourth in line of succession, and there's Red Walder, Sir Emmon's son, and Bastard Walder, who isn't in the line at all. He's called Walder Rivers, not Walder Frey. Plus there's girls named Walder. And Tyr. You always forget Tyr. He's Waltyr, not Walder, Big Walder said airily. And he's after us, so it doesn't matter. Anyhow, I never liked him. Sir Roderick decreed that they would share Jon Snow's old bedchamber, since Jon was in the Night's Watch and was never coming back. Bran hated that. It made him feel as if the Freys were trying to steal Jon's place. He'd watched wistfully while the Walders contested with Turnip, the cook's boy, and Jotheth's girls, Brandy and Shira. The Walders had decreed that Bran should be judge and decide whether or not people had said mayhaps, but as soon as they started playing, they forgot all about him. The shouts and splashes soon drew others. Paola, the kennel girl, Kane's boy Callan, Tom too, whose father Fat Tom had died with Bran's father at King's Landing. Before very long, every one of them was soaked and muddy. Paola was brown from head to heel, with moss in her hair, breathless from laughter. Bran had not heard so much laughing since the night the bloody raven came. If I had my legs, I'd knock them all into the water, he thought bitterly. No one would ever be lord of the crossing but me. Finally Rickon came running into the Godswood, Shaggy Dog at his heels. He watched Turnip and little Walder struggle for the stick until Turnip lost his footing and went in with a huge splash, arms waving. Rickon yelled, Me now! I want to play!" Little Walder beckoned him on, and Shaggy Dog started to follow. "No, Shaggy," his brother commanded. "Wolves can't play. You stay with Bran." And he did, until little Walder had smacked Rickon with the stick square in his belly. Before Bran could blink, the black wolf was flying over the plank. There was blood in the water. The Walders were shrieking red murder. Rickon sat in the mud laughing, and Hodor came lumbering in, shouting, "Hodor! Hodor! Hodor!" After that, oddly, Rickon decided he liked the Walders. They never played Lord of the Crossing again, but they played other games. Monsters and maidens, rats and cats, come into my castle, all sorts of things. With Rickon by their side, the Walders plundered the kitchen for pies and honeycombs, raced round the walls, tossed bones to the pups in the kennels, and trained with wooden swords under Sir Roderick's sharp eye. Rickon even showed them the deep vaults under the earth where the stone men were carving father's tomb. "You had no right!" Bran screamed at his brother when he heard. "That was our place! A Stark place!" But Rickon never cared. The door to his bedchamber opened. Maester Luwin was carrying a green jar, and this time Osher and Hayhead came with him. "I've made you a sleeping draught, Bran." Osher scooped him up in her bony arms. She was very tall for a woman, and wiry strong. She bore him effortlessly to his bed. "This will give you a dreamless sleep," Maester Luwin said as he pulled the stopper from the jar. "Sweet dreamless sleep." "It will?" Bran said, wanting to believe. "Yes, drink." Bran drank. The potion was thick and chalky, but there was honey in it, so it went down easy. "Come the morn you'll feel better." Luwin gave Bran a smile and a pat as he took his leaves. Osher lingered behind. "Is it the wolf dreams again?" Bran nodded. "You shouldn't fight so hard, boy. I see you talking to the heart tree. Might be the gods are trying to talk back." "The gods," he murmured, drowsy already. Osher's face grew blurry and grey. Sweet, dreamless sleep, Bran thought. Yet when the darkness closed over him, he found himself in the Godswood, moving silently beneath green-grey sentinels and gnarled oaks as old as time. "I am walking," he thought, exulting. Part of him knew that it was only a dream, but even the dream of walking was better than the truth of his bedchamber, walls, and ceiling and door. It was dark amongst the trees, but the comet lit his way, and his feet were sure. He was moving on 4 good legs, strong and swift, and he could feel the ground underfoot, the soft cackling of fallen leaves, thick roots and hard stones, the deep layers of humus. It was a good feeling. The smells filled his head, alive and intoxicating. The green muddy stink of the hot pools, the perfume of rich rotting earth beneath his paws, the squirrels in the oaks. The scent of squirrels made him remember the taste of hot blood and the way the bones would crack beneath his teeth. Slaver filled his mouth. He'd eaten no more than half a day's past, but there was no joy in dead meat, even deer. He could hear the squirrels chittering and rushing above him, safe amongst the leaves, but they knew better than to come down to where his brother and he were howling. He could smell his brother too, a familiar scent, strong and earthy, his scent as black as his coat. His brother was loping around the walls, full of fury. Round and round he went, night after day after night, tireless, searching for prey, for a way out, for his mother, his litter mates, his pack. Searching, searching, and never finding. Behind the trees the walls rose, piles of dead rock that loomed all about this speck of living wood. Speckled grey they rose, and moss-spotted, yet thick and strong and higher than any wolf could hope to leap. Cold iron and splintery wood closed off the only holes through the piled stones that hemmed them in. His brother would stop at every hole and bare his fangs in rage, but the ways stayed closed. He had done the same the first night and learned it was no good. Snarls would open no paths here. Circling the walls would not push them back. Lifting a leg and marking the trees would keep no men away. The world had tightened round them, but beyond the walled wood still stood the great grey caves of Man Rock. Winterfell, he remembered, and the sound came to him suddenly. Beyond its sky tall man cliffs the true world was calling, and he knew he must answer, or die. What did you think of the chapter?
What did you think of the chapter, Bailey? Did you like the wolf parts? Are you a wolf? His ears perked up.
I know. Well, he thinks he is, anyway.
Maybe he has wolf dreams, too.
Do you have wolf dreams? Anyway,
Whoa, Bran is inside of Summer's head there.
yeah, he's seemingly having dreams inside of Summer's body.
Mm-hmm. And Shaggy Dog is a little peed.
That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah, he's pretty angry. Summer already found out that snarling at the openings won't open anything.
Yep.
But if I snarl at this gate long enough,
it'll open. And Summer's over there like, Shaggy, I don't think that's gonna work, bud.
I tried. It shows that the wolves have kind of picked up on the personalities of the Starks that they're, I guess, linked to at this point.
Right, the Starks that are taking care of them.
Shaggy Dog is very much a angry child who doesn't understand what's going on and just wants what he wants.
That's Rickon.
Yep. And then it seems like Summer has kind of observed and figured out all the things that are going on. And he feels trapped, just like Bran feels trapped in his room.
Yep.
And he just wants out.
Yep.
But he's also more logical and, he understands like certain things won't work to get out.
Right. But also knows that there's a whole big wide world out there.
Yes.
We don't know about Lady because she was murdered.
Yeah.
And Nymeria is just assumedly out there.
We can only assume she's still alive.
Right. I'm going to assume she's still alive.
She was nearly a full-grown direwolf when she ran away. And I can't remember who it was. Someone says that nothing in these forests would dare challenge a full-grown direwolf.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was when they found the body of the mama wolf.
Oh, yeah, and they were like, "How? What?" They were shocked that it had gotten killed.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's kind of where Arya's at right now, too. She's out in the world trying to make it.
Out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
It's very interesting how you see the wolves overlapping the lives of the Starks.
Grey Wind's out there being noble and fighting with Robb.
Yep. being a kingly wolf.
Being a kingly wolf. Ghost is...
Fighting zombies.
Yes, fighting zombies.
He's up there like the Evil Dead.
Arguably the worst job of all the wolves, I
Yeah,
think.
I don't know. I mean, he seems to like it. He gets to eat fermented hands.
This is true. But yeah, either way,
It's Halloween every day when you're on the wall.
um, well, in a way, I guess Jorah Mormont sees that Ghost is special in the same way he sees Jon Snow as special. So, or
This
maybe
is
he
true.
just thinks Jon Snow is special because of Ghost.
Maybe. He's just using Jon to get to Ghost. He
Yeah.
doesn't care about Jon.
No, he's just like
He's
Ghost.
just a bastard. No one loves him.
You only want me for my wolf, because he can find the zombies.
Well, it is rather important, Jon, so yes.
I don't know, this kind of also felt just very much like a recap chapter for Bran. Like, this is what happened to Bran in the last story. This is kind of where he's at now. It's kind of almost like a Harry Potter recap chapter.
You kind of recapped all the Starks.
Oh yeah, the Sansa and Arya chapters were pretty
And about
recap.
like
Yeah.
Eddard and his death, as if you needed reminding. That wasn't traumatizing for you at the end of the last book.
And if you're keeping up with us, we just finished that book. So
Yeah.
it literally just happened not too long ago. But yeah, I think it's Martin's way of just kind of reminding us of what happened last time on A Song of Ice and Fire.
Last time.
Even the Tyrion chapter kind of felt that way.
But
But not as much as the other ones. A little bit.
I think
Because-
Tyrion was less of a recap and kind of gave you some closure on some stuff.
But you got the little
Like-
recap about, no, this is where Tywin is. This is where he was last time. You know,
Yeah.
like a recap in the sense of what happened since the
Mhm.
battle and all of that.
Well, in all fairness, if you were reading these books when they came out, you went through like a 2-year span.
That's what I
Which is an incredibly long time to wait for a book.
It's ridiculous long
I
time
know.
to wait for a book. I think we waited
3, maybe 4 years, but after that's just too much.
4 years to wait for a book. Is crazy.
Yeah.
No one should have to wait that long for a book.
Winter is never coming.
Don't say that. Don't give up hope. You stop it. Winter will come. I have to have faith that it will.
I hope so.
Beatty has faith. Yeah, I don't know. That was really, there wasn't really a whole lot.
Yeah.
Oh wait, the Walders are there.
Oh yes.
So we learned about the Walders are there. Big Walder and Little Walder, and Little Walder is big, and Big Walder is little.
Tyranny. It's like having that really fat dude named Tiny.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't even.
Nothing else you can't say. The Walders don't have a sense of humor. No, they explain he was bigger.
Yeah.
Technically, he's older.
I feel like
I love the little quip that is it Bran that makes it? At Winterfell, we all have our own names.
Rickon says that.
Rickon.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We all have our own name. Yeah, that was funny. Do you do you think that the Walders were justified in being freaked out by the wolves?
Yeah, but at the same time, like, Shaggy Dog didn't know. He was just trying to protect Rickon. Like, you hit his man. You hit his boy.
That's true.
What do you expect him to do?
Although it didn't seem to bother Rickon any. He was all about it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think
Even
Bran...
after Shaggy Dog was, like, ripping off his arm,
yeah,
he was just laughing in the mud.
Yep. Do you think that Bran is justified in disliking the Walders?
No.
I think it's just bitterness and
Yeah.
angry because he
I can't
can't.
participate.
Yeah.
And let's face it, I mean,
I don't blame him
children.
for feeling that way.
I don't blame him either,
But it's
but
not
I don't
necessarily
blame
the.
Walders either.
Yeah, it's not the Walders' fault. They're just being kids.
Yeah.
Like,
And a lot of times kids just don't have that level of empathy yet. Say, like, oh, well, let's play something else because, Bran can't walk.
Yeah. And this is not exactly a kind of society in which
You know what Bran
we're sensitive to people who say cannot walk.
You know what Bran should have done? Is he should have been like, Hodor, carry me across the bridge.
Is it right?
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, there you go.
Go ahead, hit Hodor with the stick.
It's also interesting that Maester Luwin is just not about these dreams Bran is having, not willing to give it any kind of credence whatsoever. He's just like,
And
nope.
it's interesting that after Luwin gives him the potion to give him a dreamless sleep, then he
still
dreams
has
of
a dream.
he dreams of summer.
Yeah, he still has a wolf dream.
Yeah.
Do you think these are ordinary dreams, or do you think these are kind of like Dany's dragon dreams that she had? Like something a little...
I don't know, it was very specific.
Right?
So
he
it
was
kinda
literally
seems
kind
like
of
he was-
inside the mind of Summer. Was he really inside Summer's mind?
I don't know. I'd like to dream inside Bailey's mind. I'd like to know what he thinks.
I don't know if I'd want to dream inside Bailey's. Well, it probably would be fun, but
Instead of thinking about the crunch of bones between your teeth, he'd be like, the smell of socks and chewing on whatever else he chews on.
biting Lola on the head. Whatever else Bailey thinks about, I don't even know. Oh, there you go, Lola. Okay. I guess we'll have to see next time, next time we get to hang out with Bran, how it's going with the Walders and whether or not he can convince them to let the wolves out, because I don't think anyone likes that the wolves aren't out.
No.
Well, maybe the people who keep Winterfell running, maybe they're happy about it.
And the people who have been bit by Shaggy Dog, I'm sure they're relieved.
Yeah, they might be a little bit. They might be a little.
I think they need chew toys is what they need.
Something. They need something. Oh, dear, Lola. Make a decision.
Really what they need is to go out and hunt.
Mm-hmm.
They want to hunt.
Ghost gets to do that.
Grey Wind gets to hunt people right now.
That's true.
He's doing what Shaggy Dog's dream job is.
Yes, right?
He just wants to go out and eat people, and Grey Wind gets to go out and just eat as many people as he wants.
I know.
As long as they're wearing red.
Does Shaggy Dog know? Is he jealous?
Maybe. I should be there. I should be eating those people.
Right? Even Ghost gets to eat people.
Yeah, they're a little bit past their prime, but yeah, he still does.
He does. They're just...
It's cold, they keep up there.
Great. It's like going into your freezer.
Yeah. Little frostbite never killed anyone.
I mean, they still move, so they're animated.
That's true.
But Ghost still gets
or
to
freezer burn, not frostbite.
Freezer burn. Yeah, there you go.
A little bit of freezer burn never hurt anyone.
Nah. Nymeria gets to go and do stuff if she's still out there. I'm opting for Nymeria still out there because I don't want any other direwolves to be dead.
Right. Speaking of,
we get to leave the safety of the hot springs and heated walls of Winterfell and go traveling along, not the King's Road, and hang out with Arya.
Again, a lot of Arya. I like this.
Yeah. See how Arya's doing with her friends, Lamy and Hot Pie and Biter.
Has Hot Pie's face been fixed?
Oh, and don't
or
forget
his meat pies.
His meat pie. Does urine still have lice?
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed.